Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Ellen Malcolm, Board Chair of the National Partnership for Women and Families, thank you for your leadership. More on that in a moment. Deborah Ness, on that subject in a moment. Deborah Ness, President of the National Partnership for Women and Families, thank you for your outstanding statement. Judith Lichtman, Senior Advisor, National Partnership for Women and Families, thank you for being a relentless, dissatisfied, persistent advocate, a great intellectual resource. And thank all of you for your leadership and advocacy. When I was listening to the speech, Deborah's speech, I was thinking that there was really no reason for me to speak after hearing that. She said it all, and in our tradition in the Congress, I would just say I associate myself with Madam President's remarks. But having said that, I was always, as a politician, proudly a politician, I will have more to say because I want to have more to say about all of you. Thank you. I'm very honored to be honored by you. I accept the compliment on behalf of my colleagues in the House, especially my women colleagues in the House. It is a privilege for all of us to be associated with all of you. It is a privilege to have the opportunity to speak to you at such an important time in our nation. What a week. This is the week that was great. The President of the United States speaking, not only delivering a speech, speaking from the heart about his personal experience, about all of the issues that we're talking about fairness for women in the workplace, about the need for family and medical leave, to promote, to protect a woman's, to ensure that all men and women can achieve the balance between work and family that they need to thrive. And I was especially happy when he said, when women succeed, America succeeds. It's a recurring, one way or another, we have all associated the success of women with the success of families. And thank you for fighting for women, you fight for families, you fight for America, and you fight to make our country healthier, fairer, and stronger. You work each and every day to unleash the power of strong women, strong families, and strong nation, and of course that connection is the important one. Just to put it in historical perspective, because President Ness has put it in current and future perspective. The words of the Declaration of Independence have been the heart of our nation since our founding, written by Jefferson, reasserted at Gettysburg by Lincoln, and renewed by Dr. King. They were also the inspiration for the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls 166 years ago. The words of those words inspired the Declaration of Sentiments. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women are created equal. And such is the necessity now for us to demand the equal station to which we are entitled. As we remember the words of the visionaries in Seneca Falls, we remember that also these other words. We know getting the right to vote was the main part of their agenda, and it took decades to do so, like 70 years. And when women won the right to vote, it was interesting that the newspapers, the communications of the day said, women given the right to vote. Given? What are we talking about here? We know that women were not given anything. They fought for and won the right to vote. They fought for, starved, were starved, spoke out at home, spoke outside the home. Oh my gosh, how remarkable. And then finally happened given. And then it took another several decades to get where we are now. But I want to, just as I talk about the suffragettes, say what I always say about Ellen Malcolm. She is our suffragette. She has done more to unleash the political and other economic power of women. Thank you, Ellen Malcolm, for your work in creating Emily's List, for your leadership of the partnership. Because this partnership for women and families knows the energy and the action that it takes to win change in America. You have been on the front lines in the fight since your founding. for your vision and your determination in passing the Family and Medical Leave, to your energy and action in supporting the Affordable Care Act. Your leadership has been essential to the progress of our nations. Pat yourselves on the back. You have done a job. Thanks to you, millions of Americans have been protected as they take leave to care for their families. Using the FML, and families in America have used the Family and Medical Leave Act more than 100 million times. 100 million times. And on that point, what's the problem with it is that that's some of the same families, because many families do not have access to paid leave, and many more families could take advantage of the Family and Medical Leave if it were paid. And then when that comes to your help with the Affordable Care Act, thanks to you, being a woman is no longer a pre-existing medical condition. And that includes reproductive health as well. There's more to be done, and there's more that we will do. A year ago, House Democrats, mostly women, some good men, gathered on the steps of the Capitol, joined by members of the National Partnership to lay out a bold new agenda for empowering women and families in our time. We worked together to put this agenda together. We named our agenda after the basic truth of our heart and the heart of our history. When women succeed, America succeeds. Our agenda is founded on, it's not just, that's just the title of our economic agenda for women and families. It's a statement of absolute fact, a fact that the president has talked about that wonderful conference earlier in the week. Tina Chen is here. Thank you, Tina, for your leadership of making that such a wonderful success. I can't see where you are in the light, but that was remarkable, and I think it was a real turning point for us, because it thrust everything across a threshold of knowledge for the American people as to what can be done for them. But in any event, we were thinking, what is the best thing we can do for the economy of our country? The best thing we could do to grow the economy of our country, to keep America #1, is to unleash the power of women. This was not an agenda where we said, what can we do for women? That's always our agenda. But it was a bigger issue, and it turns out they're the same thing. Unleash the power of women. It's good for women personally, their families, etc. It's the best thing and most effective thing we could do for our country. We have 3 pillars: fair pay, whether it's Paycheck Fairness Act or the raising the minimum wage, paid family leave, affordable quality child care. Today, women on average, as you know, make only 70 cents on every dollar. By the time a woman turns 65, the average woman will lose over $400,000 in the earnings gap. So it not only affects what you can do for her family now, what we can do for our families now, it affects retirement. We must act to close the pay gap, raise the minimum wage, ensure that every woman in America receives the fundamental respect of equal pay for equal work. And I know that you have done a great deal in that regard. But what we're talking about here today, FMLA, we must build on the protections you worked so hard to create in the Family and Medical Leave and advance the cause of paid leave in America. This is not just a women's issue. Many men have come to the fore and say, I need this too. That gives me hope that they will help us push that. Whether looking after a newborn, tending a recuperating family member, or nursing a declining parent, too many Americans face the impossible choice, but a paycheck they can't afford to miss, and bonding with a new baby or being there in a loved one's hour of need. Across the country, as I referenced earlier, only 12% of American workers have access to paid leave through their employers to care for a new child or seriously ill family member. Now, I want to congratulate California for leading the way. Right now, this weekend, we were observing the 10-year anniversary of being in the lead on paid leave in our country around the family and paid family and medical leave. And we want that to be, as was mentioned earlier by President Ness, it was Rhode Island and Massachusetts, other places, Connecticut brags about what it has done. We want everybody to brag, but we want to have a federal law. Because the United States is the only industrialized country in the world that doesn't guarantee paid maternity leave for new moms. How about that? For us to grow as an economy and a society, we must change. We must pass the Healthy Families Act, the Family Act, Rosa DeLauro in the House, Kristen Gillibrand in the Senate, very strong leaders on this, and guaranteed paid sick and family medical leave to every man and woman in America. And thank you for your leadership and your advocacy. Judy, you may all know that we just came back from, well, a couple weeks ago. We had a bus tour. It was great. We went to, I don't know, 8 cities or something like that. When Women Succeed Americans. Judy Lichtman was with us, causing trouble along the way. If trouble means making things better for women, because she brought so much by way of ideas, and that's representing you all. We had a good time. But I just want to tell you some of the things that we heard along the way. And I told this story. Judy's going to be impatient with me for telling it again, but don't listen, Judy. Here we are in this greatest country that ever existed in the history of the world. Here we are when we honor motherhood and family values and the rest of that, and we don't have paid leave, we don't have equal pay, we don't have affordable child care. And so one of the stories that I heard along the way that I want to tell you that captures some of this is actually it was in New Haven, Connecticut. Before this bus trip, we had other fly-ins. Rosa DeLauro, and isn't she wonderful on all of these subjects? Oh my gosh. She's our godmother. We were in New Haven, and this woman was supposed to tell her story about how, as a single mom, she lifted herself up, got in control of her situation, is in a good place with her children and the rest. And when she took the podium, she said, I don't want to tell my story. I'll tell it briefly. I want you to know about what I see every day. I'm a school bus driver, and that's my job, and I'm secure in it and that. But every day I go drive my bus, and I know I'm going to pull up to the curb, and a mom's going to come, have tears in her eyes, and I know what's going to happen. She's going to put a sick child on the bus because she has no choice. She cannot, as I said earlier, and you all know, she cannot take a day off from work because she cannot afford to be docked that pay. If she took too many days off for work, even if she had to do it, she would soon not have a job, so she can't stay home from work. She has not one day of sick leave, not one day of sick leave. So if her child is sick and she can't afford child care because she doesn't make enough and it's not affordable and it's not quality, she has no choice but to put a sick child on the bus, which isn't good for that child or any other children on the bus or when they get to school. How can that be? We have to do something about that, and we will. And we will. When women go to work, we must ensure that they have access to the affordable quality child care that is the linchpin of a working mother's success in the workplace. It's time to enact President Obama's Universal Pre-K initiative. One thing that is new, in the last couple of days I've been working with my members on our economic agenda for America. And so we said, all along we've been saying our when women succeed, America succeed should be a major part of this agenda. And then just a couple of days ago we talked about it, and this morning we decided it's not going to be a major part of it. It's going to be it. And we're going to add other things to it, but we're not going to be the addition. We're going to be the heart of the matter. When women succeed, America succeeds. That's good for the American economy. And then we'll add some of the other things. We're not going to be the addition. We're going to be the main, as I say, the heart of the matter. With these 3 initiatives about pay, about paid leave, about child care, the full potential of America's women will be realized, and we will unlock the full promise of our future, full promise of America. For we know, again, when women earn equal pay, America's economy will prosper. President Ness talked about that earlier. When women ensure fairness and balance between work and family, American society will thrive. When women succeed, America succeeds. But I have to say, for this all to happen, women have to vote. Women must vote. And a campaign is about two things. It's about electing people. I certainly have a point of view about that. I won't go into today. But it's also about raising the level of awareness of certain issues and calling upon all candidates, regardless of party or whatever, to subscribe. Where do you stand on equal pay and paid leave and childcare, affordable childcare? So that if it doesn't change who's in office, it can change the minds of those who are in office, change the policy, improve the quality of life. We're working hard, but we need you to take the lead. We need you to visit womensucceed.dems.gov to share your stories and learn more about the agenda. The stories, right, Tina? The stories are the heart of the matter. They are the power, they are the strength. That bus driver, the story she tells. I have so many other stories, but I will just leave you with the thought that we need your action and advocacy, your voices, your vision to drive this agenda home. The President of the United States has told this story not just as an improvement in policy, but as a personal experience for him and his family. How could we be proud? What better presentation of the need and the problem, the challenge, and the solutions than to have President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama put this forward, that beautiful first family. Together, we can insist on a new culture of respect for the needs of women and families, respect demonstrated in Congress and across the country. Together, we will carry on the work that began in Seneca Falls and that has defined the heart of the National Partnership for Women and Families mission for decades. Together, we will ensure that generations of women, our daughters and granddaughters, will enjoy the equal rights, equal treatment, and equal opportunities they deserve. And in doing so, we will support your motto, strong women, strong families, and a strong nation. We will build the future we know is possible. Thank you all for the honor of being with you today. Thank you for your energy, your action, and your leadership on behalf of all Americans. Thank you so much. Deborah, thank you for this beautiful honor. Thank you all very much. When women vote, women succeed. When women succeed, America succeeds. You can do it. When women succeed, America succeeds. Thank you all very much. Honored to be with you.